A lot of the way that people understand gentrification is that it's about people that want to live in the city. It's about suburbanites who are returning to the city. It's kind of about people who want a particular lifestyle. The other aspect of kind of gentrification has to do with the role of the state and the role of real estate developers and the role of finance in terms of exploiting the difference between kind of existing uses, existing rents, and then what is possible to capture given changing market conditions.
Formerly known as Bush Terminal, it was a manufacturing and warehousing hub in the early 1900s. But Michael Phillips, one of the visionaries behind the project, thinks the buildings can work for today's manufacturers and even for shoppers who will want to buy their goods.
We were looking for a deal to do in the boroughs. It's more accessible, it's more open to people coming than maybe it was in the past. How do you take 6 million square feet and have it be relevant in the new economy? When you look at the jobs of the new tech economy in the latest report, some crazy number like 42% were non-degree level positions. That's huge for New Yorkers. And that's relevant, that's real.
Mr. Phillips and his partners, Belvedere Capital and Angelo Gordon, have overseen this type of dramatic transformation before. Chelsea Market, once home to Nabisco and its Oreo cookies, now has tenants like Google and Food Network. But questions remain whether companies will venture as far off the beaten path as Sunset Park. And some artists and manufacturers in the complex say they're being pushed out after years of calling Industry City home.
Anytime you improve failing infrastructure, there's a cost attached to it. So yes, I think rents have gone up. But also some of those manufacturers were in industries that weren't compatible. So yes, there's always a sense of people having their cheese moved, if you will.
I mean, there were very, very deliberate, explicit kind of New York City EDC efforts to kind of rebrand the industrial waterfront as first as kind of a center for arts and artists, and then as now part of this kind of innovation economy. What is kind of the future of manufacturing is no longer going to be labor intensive manufacturing, but high value added, high knowledge content. And that is part of kind of the rationale for what's happening here along the industrial waterfront. But in fact, it really is not about job creation, and it's not about kind of providing opportunities to the surrounding neighborhood residents. So increasingly we have a very bifurcated Chinese immigrant population, and for those that have money and resources, they're going to want to invest in real estate, because real estate in New York City is a very stable, it's a very valuable, high status type of asset to own, and not just for the Chinese, but for many different groups and investors. So yes, we do see in Sunset Park the growing presence of property owners who are not owner occupants. They're not buying their property to live there, they're buying them as investment properties. And when you're an investor, you have a very different motive than if you're a homeowner. And of course, there's also just transnational real estate developers, that are doing business both in the United States as well as in China, with the financialization coming either from China or from US banks, but they are the developers.